Hello? We're trying again. We're trying again. I keep trying to do this. There we go. Hello. Tell me if you can. We're trying again. Hello, Backyard Politics, Karen M. Here we go again. Yeah, I know. We're trying. We're trying. Back again one more time. Loud and clear in Australia. Periscope, Twitch. Yeah. Merced, California. Hello. Renee, Edwin, Jesus, George Allen, Tony DeMeo. Right on. What's up? It is Saturday, March 14th. Ron Placone and I were supposed to be in Miami, Florida. We are not. That was canceled. Most of you know this. Everything's been canceled. So we talked about maybe doing a live stand-up show tonight. But let me grab my phone real quick. I'll be right back. Ron Placone and I are not able at this point to I'm not completely done with Bernie. We talked about it on Jimmy's show yesterday. I'm not completely done. I think this is tomorrow is the last chance. And without that, I don't know what else. Seeing Biden isn't mentally capable of handling this virus. Trump's a complete, that maybe that will be the thing that Bernie goes, okay, it's now or never. Everybody's screaming, it's now or never. Everybody is screaming, it's now or never. But I do want to put this. 113 people watching. What's up? We should. Yeah, I'm only going to go till 6 o'clock, guys. And I wanted to go from 5 to 6, but we have tech issues. If you need to watch Ron, go for it, man. I am encouraging everybody to continue to vote for Bernie. But if he doesn't go after Biden hard Sunday, and then if he tells me to vote for Joe Biden, I will not do that. So hit the like button, subscribe. Yeah, it's. What about a populist progressive party like Kim Iverson and Crystal Ball are talking about? Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm all for that. Greetings from Pride City, San Francisco, California. Right on. Yeah, Jimmy is not completely done. He's just really disappointed. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of faith in Bernie, doing a knockout punch Sunday. But I know we talked about it yesterday on Jimmy's show. We want him to. Jimmy doesn't think he will. Jimmy would love to be wrong. We would all love to be wrong on that account. Everyone's called for it. So I want to read you. Hello, Cat B. Yeah, and what Cat B's talking about, we should not be throwing in the towel, but it is like this is do or die. Nomiki Konst made that video saying Bernie, now's the time. Like he has to fight back. We're seeing them cheat in the primary, and he has to call them out. And I'm not calling in the towel. I'm not saying, there's a lot of primaries left. And since there's a real opportunity. So, I want to pull this up for you. I'm going to talk about what Bernie needs to do for tomorrow. Hold on a second. I want to get this. Well, first I want to address this here. The 172 people watching, 77 likes. Ron and I were talking about live streaming stand-up comedy tonight. I couldn't get that put together in time, but I am working on it. I talked to a comedy club. I talked to the All Things Comedy Studio, and I talked to like a streaming service all today. So I just couldn't put it together in such short notice, and everybody's like scrambling now because everything's getting shut down. Excuse me. So I was talking to the owner of the Flappers Comedy Club. They were shut down Thursday. They're just reopening. So he's like, Graham, I'm scrambling today, but I love the idea. So we're going to work on that in the future. In the short term, though, I am going to be doing a live, I'm going to be doing a set on a Facebook Live show tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So if you go to Steve Marzan's Facebook, okay, quarantine comedy, a COVID-19 comedy celebration, we're going to stream this out live on Steve's Facebook, like literally on his Facebook page, probably just with his phone or something like that. So that starts tonight at 7 o'clock. There's about 8 or 9 comics. We're each doing like 5 to 10 minute sets. I will be one of the comedians doing a 5 to 10 minute set. So if you want to see me do stand up tonight, tune in literally about an hour and a half. And it's literally like in his backyard in front of like 10 people or something. I don't even know what the setup is. I don't know Steve that well, but I know he's a good dude and this is a cool thing that he's doing. I just was asked to be a part of it, and I want to do stand up tonight, and I want to see how the live streaming is. So if you want to watch stand up comedy tonight from the comfort of your own home for free, go to this quarantine comedy. It's on Steve Marzan's Facebook. So check this out. And what Ron and I are working on, what I'm working on, is setting up some kind of monthly or maybe even weekly live stand-up show that maybe we put behind a paywall, because all of our tour dates are canceled, which the road money is, it's a significant portion of my income. And none of us get to perform. You guys don't get to come to shows. And we're looking into this because there's also many of you that can't come to our shows. You live way out in the sticks, or if anybody, has a disability, or now if you have a respiratory or an immune deficiency, you shouldn't be out in public. So we're going to work on this, and I will have announcements as that information unfolds, but we're going to try to find a venue to do stand up in front of like 10, 15 people where they're spread out. So we have some kind of laugh, and put it behind a paywall, $5-10 somewhere in there. So we can make money. The venue can make money. You guys can see a show. And we'll do like our stand-up acts. And if we get that set up, I'll have Jimmy on the show. I'll have Steph. I'll have all these progressive comedians come out, because everyone will be hungry for the comedians. We all just got shut down. 100 comics just got called off the road in the last 3 days, and bands and everybody, any entertainer, like, bye. So, and we're real close to a complete like quarantine shutdown of everything. So I will have information on that hopefully this coming week. I'd like to have a show set up for next Saturday, if not the Saturday after, because I don't know how long this quarantine thing's going to go. None of us do. So that's that information. 232 people watching, 110 likes. So yeah, worry about the super delegates later, fight like hell now. No, this is not, it's not, we shouldn't throw up. We shouldn't all give in, throw in the towel and quit. It's disheartening, because I'm not shocked the DNC is cheating. I'm shocked at Bernie's lack of reaction. That's really what's bothering me to a certain extent. So I want to bring this up here. I want to read some excerpts of this speech. So there's this, and I'm going to interview this woman. Hold on a sec. I just want to put this together. Hit the like button, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching The Political Vigilante. So the speech that Bernie should give, but probably won't. This woman, Jackie Salet, I believe works with Open Primaries, an organization. They're an election reform organization that I've worked with. My friend John Updike, I've known for years. The speech that Bernie should give, but probably won't. And this is important. This is what I'm going to have her on the show Monday. We were trying to schedule something this week, but my travel, and then it got canceled, and it was all kind of crazy for everybody. So, oh God, I know we're not supposed to touch our face. Oh, Jesus. I washed my hands thoroughly. My face and nose are clean. No one's been in my apartment, so there's no way Corona is in my apartment. Jesus, crazy times. So this is the speech. I want to read some excerpts from, but I'm going to have an interview with her on the show. This is the speech that Bernie should give. Hello, my America. Hello, America, my brothers and sisters. This campaign, this race for the Democratic presidential nomination has come to a critical point, a boiling point, some would say. And before we go any further, before voters in the next states cast their primary ballots, and before the media casts its spin over the public, and before the kingmakers in the back rooms of the Democratic Party tell everyone that it's over, I want to speak directly to the American people. Not just to Democrats, not just to voters, but to all of the people, to the 99%, and yes, the 1%, to the builders, the workers, the parents, the children, the investors, whether with capital or with sweat equity or this country. By now, you have heard many things about me. Again, this is the speech. I'm speaking as though I'm Bernie Sanders. This is a speech that Jackie Salet wrote. That imagine Bernie Sanders giving this speech. If you've been listening to the media or my opponents in this contest or to the wolves of Wall Street, you have heard that I'm a socialist, that I want a revolution, and you are being told that to be a socialist, to be a revolutionary is too radical, too dangerous, too risky for our times, times in which we must band together for one purpose and only one purpose, to defeat Donald Trump. Let me be clear, there was no one in this country that wants to defeat Donald Trump more than I do. No one. And there was no one in this country who has spoken out more harshly against him, against his reckless policies. And there is no one who has been more forceful about his betrayal of working class and middle class people and farm families who put their trust in him rather than vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Believe me, I never thought anyone should put their trust in Hillary Clinton. That's why not Elizabeth Warren, not Michael Bloomberg, not Amy Klobuchar, not Kamala Harris, or anyone you've seen in the debate stage over these last few months. I alone raised the alarm over the direction of our party, over its complicity with global corporate interests, over its failure to see the suffering and anger and feelings of abandonment by so many, including what the elites in this country call the deplorables. President Donald Trump, I'm sorry to say, was the product of the Democratic Party's blindness. That does not excuse him or any of his actions. No, it does not. Nor does it excuse the actions of the Trump loyalists and government who would flout the rule of law, the separation of powers, and the basic laws of human decency and get the right-wing policies they want. But given the gravity of our current situation, we must be honest with one another, and I want to be honest, completely honest with you, my fellow countrymen and women. Yes, I have been accused of being a socialist. No surprise there, because I told everyone I'm a socialist. And I've been telling everyone that for more than 60 years. In the Jewish working class neighborhood in Brooklyn where I grew up in the war years, many, many people called themselves a socialist or a communist or a member of the workman's circle or a trade unionist. Why? Because people believe that everyone, no matter where they came from, should be able to have a fair share of the American dream. Not as a handout, but as a proper reward for hard work. Forget about the labels for a minute. Forget about the language of ideology and the scare tactics. Most Americans believe in that principle. And that, Mr. President, is what makes our country great, not your appeals to American power and chauvinism. When I say I'm a socialist, I'm not talking about a tax plan, though I have one. I'm not even talking about a healthcare plan, though I have one. As you know, I wrote the damn bill. I'm not even talking about the ways in which government must use its power to regulate, to protect the powerless, and to hold the powerful to account, though. I believe that government can and should play that role. I'm not talking about any of those things when I say I'm a socialist. I'm talking about a principle that says that human beings have a responsibility to each other. that we are the creators and builders of wealth of this country, and we should partake in the wealth we create. I'm talking about what happens when a tornado rips through dairy farms in rural Wisconsin, destroying barns and fences and homes, and the next day, hundreds of people, friends, family, and neighbors show up to clear the rubble and rebuild. Or when a gunman opens fire in a black church in Charleston and people from every walk of life show up to help the injured, to feed the first responders, to minister to the grieving. I'm talking about a blurry handheld video of two little buddies, 2-year-old boys, a black and one white, who see each other on the street and run to hug each other. Over 100 million people view the video online. That, my friends, all of that is socialism. That is the name of humanistic outlook that says we are all in this together, and we must have a system that honors that moral principle. That principle can give according to our abilities and accept according to our needs. I'm proud to believe in those things. This is a shared society, but right now there is too little sharing and too much greed. There is too much damn greed in this country, pure and simple. The drug companies, the insurance companies, the fossil fuel companies, the gun manufacturers, the hedge funds, and the banks are profiteering in hideous ways. I have said this before, but I will say it again. This pattern of profiteering must be brought to heel. We cannot have a country in which 40% of the wealth being created is controlled by the top 1% of the country. This is not only immoral, in my view, it is dangerous. I believe that America needs a powerful revolution to a more equitable system. That's what elections are for. But I also believe that if we do not address the wealth gap, if we do not address the racial divide, if we do not address poverty and underdevelopment, if we do not respond humanely to the flow of immigrants to this country, if we do not take proper care of our veterans, we may experience a revolution of a different sort, a destructive sort. Nobody wants that. I would add, not dealing with a pandemic. The young people who have joined our movement, the millions of voters of all races and creeds and ethnicities, the Democrats and independents who have cast ballots for me, have done so because they believe in this country. Not because they want to tear it down, but they are unhappy with and distrustful of a political system which has gone along with greed and which has placed partisan loyalty above the needs of the nation. They want systematic change. And this campaign, my candidacy, this movement is committed to bringing that change. We are not interested in restoring the old order when times were better. Times were never better for the poor, for the incarcerated, for the underpaid and the stigmatized. Let's be honest. I believe there is a hunger in America for new political alliances. We saw the evidence of that on Super Tuesday. In spite of the fact that the media has trumpeted the surprising resurrection of Joe Biden, it should not be a surprise to anyone. The outcome on Super Tuesday, which, by the way, helped Joe Biden catch up to me, not the other way around, was the result of the Democratic Party establishment machine putting the squeeze on the primary process. Clear the mandate lane, make it a two-man race. Enough democracy here. I get it. I know what this is. I've had to live with it during my 40 years of public service. I've gotten the late night calls from party leaders telling me to fall in line. Truth be told, sometimes I did because I felt I had no choice. Maybe I was wrong to do that. For example, the deal I accepted with the Democratic National Committee for the 2020 primary and convention rules was a bad deal. For me, and more still for the country, the Unity Reform Commission, which is empowered to rewrite the rules, was supposed to lay the groundwork for party unity by correcting the problem we saw in 2016 when the DNC tilted the playing field for Hillary Clinton. My appointees to the commission began with a plan to open all the primaries to independent voters, which are now 42% of the country. However, we agreed to a compromise in which the party would not welcome independents, but would make it easier for them to become Democrats, something many, many independents don't want to do. We started out with a demand to eliminate the superdelegates entirely, but we agreed to a compromise that reduced the number, but which gives them extraordinary power in a brokered convention, the likely scenario this July. In both these cases, we gave away some of the power of the voters to the party bosses. Of course, the Democratic Party should open its door to independents. and not by requiring them to become Democrats. We want them in our big tents and as who they are. So why do we tell independents they have to convert to join us with this process? It makes no sense. We have to change direction here. It is estimated that 26 million independent voters were locked out of primary voting in 2016. A shift of 40,000 votes in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania would have changed the outcome of the presidential election. You do the math. Do we want independent voters to feel welcome in our house? It's worth looking closely at the results of Super Tuesday to see the evidence that Americans are open to and searching for new alliances. Look at the vote by independents on March 3rd when all but one primary was open to non-aligned voters. And me. In fact, I've won the most independent votes in 3/4 of the states that have voted so far. But if you combine the independent vote for me and for Bloomberg in 9 Super Tuesday states, we jointly polled 48% or more of the independent vote. Biden did significantly better with Democrats than he did with independents. Bloomberg and I each significantly better with independents than with Democrats in almost every Super Tuesday state. This tells me that there is the possibility of a new coalition, a new majority coalition that wants to break down the barriers of party preference and ideology to get on with that process of solving America's most acute problems and revitalizing our democracy. Now, wait a minute. I know that many of you are gasping here, including many of you who have been campaigning and donating and voting for me. Bernie, why are you putting Bloomberg supporters and Bernie backers in the same camp? Isn't he a billionaire? Didn't he attack you on stage at the debate for being a socialist? How and why would you put these votes totals together? They don't belong together. Let me explain. Yes, Mike Bloomberg is a billionaire and friends with pedophiles and probably one himself. That part I just added. I don't blame him for being a billionaire, but being friends with the pedophiles, I do. Graham Elwood blames him for being a billionaire. This speech by Jackie Salat, she does not. Just pointing out some differences. And he happens to be one of the better ones because he does give away a lot of money to important progressive causes, though nothing compared to what he spent on trying to make himself president. I would take out that line. But the voters determined that they didn't want him to be president. So here is a case where market forces prevail. I do fault him for his anti-progressive attacks on me. For a guy who claims to be unbought and unbossed, he certainly joined the establishment chorus against me in a big hurry. Maybe the same advisors who prepped him for his first debate told him to do it. But Mike is a smart guy, and he should know better than to be stopping to McCarthyite tactics. After all, it was a bunch of independent socialists that got him elected mayor of New York City in the first place. Yeah. Sidebar here from this speech. Mike Bloomberg ran in New York City where you can run as an independent and as a Republican. A bunch of independents helped get Mike Bloomberg to be mayor of the largest city in America. Sidebar. Where are we at here? That's something he doesn't like to talk about, but it's true. But the issue isn't Mike Bloomberg. It's the people who voted for him. That's who I'm listening to. And that's who I'm talking to. These are voters, especially the independents, who chose not to vote for Joe Biden. They voted for someone who is an outsider to a party infrastructure. He is wealthy, yes, very wealthy, but he is also independent of the party machine. And people like that independence because they don't trust the parties, neither party. I don't think he's an independent part of the machine, but I get the point here. We're not wealthy. This is not a wealthy campaign, though we have raised tens of millions of dollars in small donations to get our message out, and we continue to do so. But we are independent of that party machine, and that is why we are doubling down on destroying our They are doubling down on destroying our campaign before any more votes are cast and before a single delegate gets to Milwaukee. It is my intention that this campaign, this coalition of outsiders, which in November, by the way, will include many millions of people who voted for Donald Trump, is the new independent coalition that can power America forward. That, my friends, is the manifesto of our revolution. Lastly, I want to speak to the African-American community who struggle for justice, whose long march to put an end to the legacy of slavery I commit myself to until my dying day. Again, The narrative that has been so deftly shaped by the spin of the results in South Carolina, and then again on Super Tuesday, is that African American community is monolithic, that they monolithically behind Joe Biden, and that it should restore and repair the Democratic Party by voting for him. However, there is more to the story than meets the eye. Joe Biden did not win monolithic support from Black voters across Super Tuesday states. In 4 short years after Hillary Clinton walked away with almost the entire Black vote against me in 2016, there has been a notable fall off in the support for the establishment favorite. In fact, among younger Black voters under the age of 30, our campaign demonstrated strong support: 22% in Alabama, 37% in Virginia, 61% in North Carolina, 41% in Texas, 38% in South Carolina. I point to these percentages not to make any false claims, but to support the young people who followed a different path. Young voters in all communities, and especially in the communities of color, need more mobility. They do not want to be taken for granted. They do not want to be a foregone conclusion. They do not bring an attachment to a party or fixed ideology with them to the voting booth. They are searching for new ways to give expression to their wants and desires, to their dreams and aspirations. Yes, young people are staring down a mountain of student debt, which we must relieve them of. But they are also staring down a bipartisan political system that has failed to move the country beyond the racial divide. James Baldwin told this country 55 years ago that racism in America has brutalized its victims and those who perpetrated it. He implored us to see the personal and social consequences of the moral depravity of racism. He cautioned that we as a country had to understand that poor and working class whites are given only one thing to cling to, that at least they are not Black. Donald Trump understands that, and he has deployed it mercilessly. And yet we in the progressive movement, the liberal movement, the socialist movement, whatever label you choose, don't allow ourselves to talk about Barack Obama, who gave the best speech of his life in Philadelphia before he was elected president, tried to lay down some of these truths, but in the hands of the partisans, in the hands of the establishment, in the hands of the greedy, we have not been able to continue that conversation, but we must. Joe Biden says he is the one true Democrat in the race. With all the competition dropping like flies, he wants you to rise up in judgment of me, of the millions who have voted for me, the Latino flood service workers in Nevada, the Black healthcare providers in California, the students in Texas, and the teachers in New Hampshire and Iowa. He wants America to turn its back on me because he says I am not a true Democrat. Let me respond to this in the simplest way I know how. I love this party, but I love my family more. I believe in this party, but I believe more deeply in the people of this country. I have given my entire life to making this party stand for what is right. I am not going to stop now. If you believe, as I believe, that our party and our country are at a crossroads that is much deeper and more dangerous, and at the same time more filled with the opportunity for progress than at any time in, then I ask you to give me a vote. We can defeat Donald Trump. We can build a new and radically inclusive governing coalition. We can call greed to account. We could take out some of the Bloomberg stuff. But that's a pretty impressive speech overall, and I wish he would say it. I wish he would say it. You know, 397 people. Yeah. I am tapping into my inner Jack Kennedy. That's the speech Bernie should give. Like, share, subscribe. Patreon.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Shave your knuckles for justice. So let's answer some super chats. Bernie, we talked about this. He needs to fight hard, man. We talked about it on the Jimmy Dore show. He needs to fight hard. He needs to fight back hard. just find this real quick. Okay, it's streaming. Super chatters, thank you for supporting the show, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. Dylan Wall, 038, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Ben Riley, viewership could be high because sports are canceled. Yeah, that's another thing. We want to do the live stand-up shows because we're all can't do anything. We can't go to a concert. We can't go to a sport. I love going to sports and watching them. We can't do anything. So I want to put out entertainment. I'm a comedian entertainer first and foremost. I got into this journalism thing because the media is so horrible. But I want to do more entertainment. I want to do more live political vigilante game shows, maybe a weekly political vigilante live game show, like on a cool stage and get buzzers and all that stuff. I'm going to work on that, guys. Ben Riley, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Bernie isn't a good gamesman like Trump, but he is a fantastic manager unlike Trump. That's why it isn't in him to fight. No, he's got great ideas and a great way of communicating them. He just doesn't like, I want the feisty Bernie on the summer. I wrote the damn bill. We all were like, yes, more of that guy. And then he slowly got nicer. I don't understand it. Merced Cali, are the numbers there to avoid superdelegates? Still, there's a slim window where he could get the 1,900 delegates to be the nomination going into the party, and we don't have to have a brokered convention. We know the Democratic Party is cheating at every turn. Bernie needs to use this Bernie needs to use the coronavirus to shout, and he said it in his speech yesterday. I listened to Biden's speech. Trump's speech was insane. It was just like, oh, okay. It was crazy. Trump's speech was crazy. Google's going to fix it. Biden barely can remember. Bernie gave a speech, and he should be like, if we had Medicare for all, we would have had. We're on pace. In 2 weeks, we're going to be like Italy. I mean, it's really could get that bad that quickly. 40 to 70% of the people could get sick, and 2% of them, or 3%, or even if just 1% of them. We broke down the numbers on the Jimmy Dore show yesterday. If 40% of the population, 330 million people, get sick, it's 130 million people, roughly. If 1% of them get sick, that's 1.3 million people. 40% of the people get infected and 1% of them die. That's 1.3 million people dying on the low end. It could be 3, 4, 5 million people on the high end. And Trump was an idiot. So Bernie needs to do this tomorrow on the debate. The primaries have been suspended. And he needs to go, hey, everybody who's afraid of Medicare for all socialism. Actually, if we had it, you'd all be safe. Hey, older white Trump voters that voted for Trump, you're the most susceptible group. The elderly and people with immunity disorders are the most susceptible. I can get sick. I can get sick and I'll just have a bad flu. And I'll get better. I'm healthy. If you're healthy, you'll get better. Right? I'm not sick. I'm good. But if I were to get sick or other healthy people, I'm going to be okay. I could have it. Healthy people can have it and be asymptomatic and have no symptoms. World Austerity Report. Boom. We need to mass tweet, vlog, call reps that will not vote for Dems if Biden is the nominee. Primary challenge, anyone backing Biden, put the fear into them. I think that's a great idea. Let them know. The primaries next week have been suspended. The debate is still happening. They moved it from Arizona to DC. There's no audience. There's a limited crew. So that's how they're going to do it. Citizens Media TV, boom. Well done, MMT Federal Reserve Videogram. You've come a long way, and I'm really proud to be a small part of it. Never knew paper t-shirts existed. Citizens Media TV, that's Jeff Epstein, not the... we always got to clarify, not the one that hung himself with a paper t-shirt, but the one that introduced me, Jeff Epstein from Citizens Media TV introduced me 2 years ago to MMT. And that's how we're able to talk about this and why I pointed out. So this stimulus plan, this coronavirus stimulus plan is $50 billion. And yet the Federal Reserve just gave $1.5 trillion to the banks. And it barely put a blip in stopping the nosediving stock market. The stock market is going to open Monday and it's going to crash even harder. Mark my words. $1.5 trillion. I want to break this down for you mathematically. Okay? So I want to break this down for you mathematically. They gave $50 billion for stimulus for this coronavirus. So people are like, I just lost work. So I just want to put it in perspective, right? So these 3 comedy clubs, Ron and I lost work. The comedy clubs lost work. The wait staff, the bartenders, they all lost work. The airline lost money. We canceled our rental car. The hotels, we canceled all that stuff. So all of that, see when you travel, how many jobs are affected? All of those jobs have been affected, right? Again, I'm not worried about millionaire NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball athletes. I'm not worried about them. You know who I'm worried about? The ticket taker, the hot dog vendor, the waitress at the sports bar across the street from the venue. I'm worried about those people. I'm worried about those men and women and how they're going to pay their bills and feed their families, right? $50 billion, that's how much they care about us. The banks got $1.5 trillion. That's how much the Federal Reserve just gave. Tulsi instituted a plan, and I don't know if it's passed yet, to give everybody emergency UBI, universal basic income, $1,000 a month. We have 335 million people in this country, roughly. So that would be $1,000 a month is $335 billion a month. Times 5. So we could, for $1.5 trillion, the money they just gave those assholes on Wall Street, every American could have $1,000 a month for the next 5 months because everybody just about has lost work. Unless you run like a video conference place or something like that, where you sell gloves or masks or toilet paper, your profits went up. But just about everyone else has been affected. $1,000 a month wouldn't replace all of the lost tour dates, but it would help. It would help. It would ease the pressure. Everyone would feel a little more relieved. Everyone would be all crazy panicking in the store. I just want to spell out those simple numbers. They could have, the federal government could have helped every American, could have given every American $1,000 a month for the next 5 months. Instead, they gave it to the banks. Tell your neighbors that. Tell your Trump supporter family. Tell your Pelosi loving family. Tell them that's what they did. This completely corrupt political system. The two parties got together and found $50 billion, which compared to $1.5 trillion is goddamn change you find under your seat cushions in your couch or your car. They basically rummaged through old clothes and under their car seats and threw some change at you while they just gave their buddies a raise. Here's what they're going to do for $1.5 trillion. They're going to say, now we're going to give you low interest loans. We're going to give you the loan. We'll loan you money. We told you can't work, you can't travel, you can't go to sporting events, you can't go outside, your kids can't go to school. We're directly telling you all the reasons you got to stay home and not make money. And are we going to just give you money? No, we're going to give you a low interest loan. So not only do you lose this month or two of work or however long this lasts, even if it's just 1 month, you lose a month of work. All those bills you still got to pay. And now we're going to give you extra debt. That's their plan. Does that make sense? No, it's complete bullshit. What this virus is doing is showing everybody how awful capitalism is. It's awful. If we had democratic socialism, if we had Medicare for all, if Obama passed real Medicare for all, like he could have done, he had the House and a filibuster-proof Senate. He could have done that. Instead, thanks to Democrats in the House and Senate, sold us out and gave us this bullshit Romney care. You see this? You see how it's all, we could have Medicare for all now. And there could have been a plan in place for a pandemic because doctors and scientists have been talking about this for the better part of 3 decades. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. We could be prepared for it. Instead, we're not. And we didn't contain it. So now it's going to spread. And we're going to have millions of deaths in America. And it's going to affect us for the next 9 to 24 months. So thanks, corrupt Democratic Party that gave us Trump. Donna Brazil's book, in her book, Donna Brazil says the Democratic Party was so corrupt it was bought and owned and controlled by Hillary Clinton. Can you imagine that? If Bernie Sanders controlled the Democratic Party, the I'm with her crowd would have gone nuts, and rightfully so, because it would have been utter corruption. Donna Brazil admitted it. So this is why this party is completely corrupt, and they've let equally and more corrupt Trump in the White House. The Democrats gave us Trump. I'm not excusing any of Trump's awful bullshit. He is awful. That speech he gave was like, this is the guy in charge? I feel terrified. So just want you to know, that's how they view you. You're worth 50 billion, but the banks are worth 1.5 trillion. That's what you're worth. Sorry. But hopefully members of the ruling class are going to get coronavirus, and then maybe some shit might happen. Maybe there'll be new testing happening. Trump's just turning it over to private pharmaceutical companies. Oh, great. Nancy Pelosi says, we'll have tests that'll be affordable. No, they need to be free, dumbass. That's what the polio vaccine was free. You just went to the park and got a polio vaccine. That's what you do. Testing should be free. Japan and South Korea, 2 capitalist democratic societies, have free healthcare. So they were able to clamp it down quick, and their numbers have gone down. China's numbers have gone down. Our numbers are going up. We're going to be worse percentage-wise, and we have a bigger population than Italy. Just wait. 2 weeks from now. Just wait. You can't stop a virus with a MAGA hat. You can't stop a virus with malarkey. Like, share, and subscribe. Share these videos, everybody. Go to GrahamElwood.com. Follow me on social media at GrahamElwood. Boom. All right. I'm going to read some super chats and I got to get out of here. 444 people watching. Hit the like button. Hi from Italy. This is serious shit, man. Our heart's going out to you, man. Thank you. Everyone's a rich man's trick. Wish I lived in a first world country. Yeah, I know. We live in a banana republic. Like, America's you're watching this reaction to this pandemic. We're a fucking banana republic. Trump, here's how it should go. The president should go, boom, here's what's happening. Here's the head of the CDC should not be an elected official, the head of the CDC. It's a political position. So Trump can put some idiot, pro-lifer, doesn't believe in science jackass in there, or someone that has to do the president's bidding. No, the CDC should be the smartest person with regard to infectious diseases and how to treat them. And the CDC should be going, this is what we need to do. We've talked to China, we've talked to Italy, we've talked to South Korea, we've talked to the EU. This is what we need to do. And it comes from the top down. That every governor, there's a CDC of every state, and there needs to be one voice, one message. Instead, Trump just says things, he contradicts himself, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So each governor is scrambling. So I hope you got a good governor, because the federal government doesn't give a shit about you. But what can we do? I'm not panicking when I'm going out. I'm mad at this, but I'm not. When I go to the store, I'm super polite. People are like, stressed. Some woman cut in front of me, and I just that's cool. How you doing? I'm overly nice. That's what we need to do. Quell it down. Be nice. Be nice out in public. Be nice out in public. We got to take care of each other right now. When the dust settles, we need to get this government out. Republicans, Democrats, vote them out. They're going to let people die, and we're going to hang it on them. Do not blame anybody else except the ruling class for this. Don't get mad at your neighbor. Be nice. Give up some toilet paper. Look out for one another, take care of one another, blame this corrupt political parties, the Republicans and Democrats. Blame Trump, blame the Clintons, blame the Obamas, blame the Bushes, blame Joe Biden, blame Pelosi, blame Mitch McConnell. That's who you blame. Take care of one another, take care of your neighbors, look out for one. Don't be like people not looking at you. I'm trying to like look people in the eye and go, hey, how you doing? I was at the co-op today and the woman goes, oh my God, I watch your show. I love it. Oh, thank you so much. I'm in the co-op. There's empty shelves. People were pretty nice for the most part. One lady was a little rude to me, but I let it slide. I let it slide. So be nice. Offer your neighbor your hand if they need a wipe. I don't know what to say. If people don't line up to vote on Tuesday, primaries not postponed. Arizona, Florida, and Ohio have announced their March 17 primaries will go on as scheduled. Okay. If that's accurate, I want to see accurate information on that. We'll see what happens Monday. Pay close attention. That everything could change in the next 36 hours. So, Graham, I was verbally attacked today because I'm Asian. They told me to go back to China. I'm so sorry. That's so ridiculous. Everyone go on social media and say blaming someone who's from China. It's China. This isn't China's fault. Like, this is ridiculous. Viruses can start anywhere. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry. And if you witness any of that out in public, just step in. Don't start a big fight, but just go, that's not fair. This person didn't create it. China didn't create this. China's government actually handled it correctly. Our government is not. Don't get mad at it. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I'm really sorry. Show this person some love, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm really sorry. You don't deserve that shit at all, man. I'm so sorry. All right, let me read some super chats and then I gotta go because I'm doing this show at 7. Ember 33, post links, please. I want to watch everything. Yeah, I don't know. Go to that Facebook page where I posted that earlier. This is the show I'm doing. Literally look for quarantine comedy, a Covoid, a 19 comedy celebration. I will, as soon as I get offline here, I'll post it on my Facebook. If you follow me on my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/GrabNoone. But just look for this on Facebook right now. Steve Mazan's Facebook page. This is what it looks like. It's tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific, which is 10 o'clock Eastern. Okay? Steve Mazan's Facebook. I'll spell out Mazan for you so you have it. Dylan Wall, 803H, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Bernie is what I think you should vote. I think this is our last shot here. I know our system is not, it's very corrupt. We got to overwhelm and then we're gonna probably have to, have peaceful nonviolent resistance because this ain't right. And if we let Biden or Trump take us into this pandemic and climate collapse, we're doomed. We need a leader with top-down solutions. That's what we need. That's working with governments, not just when Trump he just said we're banning people flights from the EU. The EU didn't know about it. It made it worse on the EU end. Americans were screwed over. He let Americans back in the country who had the virus. Like that, this isn't a national political issue, you fucking orange-skinned rapist. You stupid, coked-up pedophile. Be a leader, you moron. Get out of the tanning bed, you jackass, and be a leader. If you voted for this guy, is this not the thing when the virus spreads in your fucking Make America Great Again community, or then are you going to realize this is Trump? But you can't blame Obama. You can't blame anyone else. He's your president. Jameson Doan, are you, Ron, Jimmy, etc., all off tours as of right now? For right now, yes. I mean, as it stands right now, the next tour dates Ron and I have are in April in Seattle and Portland. Seattle says that you can have gatherings that are 100 people or less. The 2 venues we have in Seattle and Portland are both 100-seat venues. So as it stands now, we're still doing them, but it could change. So just keep following me and Ron on social media. As soon as we have a definitive, we'll let you know. Right now, they're happening, but as we get closer, we will have to make a decision. So I don't know. We already got our plane tickets and travel and everything up to Seattle and Portland, so we'll see what happens. Ricky Williams, boom, shave your knuckles for justice. When I think about how bad we are as human beings, I remind myself that dinosaurs were involved in far worse sin and debauchery, that the man upstairs launched a huge rock at them. Thanks, Ricky, good point. Adam Gullick, do you think Bernie was bought or have they something on him and that's why he's playing nice with Biden? You know, there's rumors. I don't have any substantial. I heard somebody said that they probably have something on Jane, his wife. I mean, I've seen the ruling class and the CIA threaten to kill people's children before. I mean, look what they did to Gary Webb. They threatened his children, and then he, you know, committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice. So maybe they threatened Bernie's kids or grandchildren, and that's why he's holding back. I don't know. I don't know at this point. It's all just speculation. It's hard to say. Ricky Williams. 2 things are certain in life: death and Republicans are bad at math. George Allen, shave your knuckles for justice. How could Bill Clinton not know how young those girls were on that they were there? Also, their day-to-day life must have been horrible. Were they beat up, disciplined, etc.? And for the most part, the victims have been forgotten by mainstream media. Yeah, it's awful. Bill Clinton was on Epstein's plane 26 times. Hillary was on it twice. They were at Epstein's compound, Bill and Hillary, numerous times. There's pictures with Bill and some teenage, you know, some child. It's awful, man. It's awful. This coronavirus wipes out the old, filthy, billionaire, pedophile, sex trafficking ruling class. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Nicola, 30100, Elwood and Door, 2024. Thank you. Emberg, 33, Brownie of Secretary of Fun, cuddling in love times. Brownie, so great. Blaviv, Foxglove, boom, 267,000 raised for Chelsea, free Julian Assange. Yeah, Chelsea Manning has an Indiegogo for her legal to pay her fines and her legal fees. So she needs this. She raised $250,000 in 24 hours. So my heart breaks for the suicide attempt, but she got released from prison, and you know they should just waive the fines. The fact that she has to do a GoFundMe shows how fucked up this country is. But you know, I've done videos on it this past week. We talked about it on Jimmy's show yesterday. So donate to the GoFundMe, share that out there, help any way you can. It is a little bit of a win that she got released. She's out of prison. That's a good thing. What's going to happen and how they're going to screw with her since this, I don't know. I don't see them just letting her walk. I don't know. Maybe the judge went time served. I don't know what, but it's good she's out. And George Allen, boom. Sorry, my live chats are so scattered. I don't write like I talk. I actually cuss a lot. No worries, George. I just appreciate you supporting the show. You're making Gotham great again, and your knuckles are shaved. Jim Garrison. Here's a 10 spot for your current dry spell. Feel the burn. Check out Biden's zombie stroll from last night. Thank you, Jim, for supporting the show. I really appreciate it. You know, we took a hit financially this week, and, you know, I appreciate your support in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to try to be putting more content on Patreon and out there on Rockfin and everything. And I'm kind of scrambling here because so much focus is put on booking tour dates and going on the road and all that. So I'm now scrambling to try to do live stream the stand-up, but thank you so much. And I'm going to figure this out. I will guarantee you this, there will be more content online because I'm at home and not on the road. Absolutely. When I go on the road, it takes up a lot of time. I can't do I can do behind the scenes and quick stuff backstage and Ron and I in the car, but it's, you know, this takes a lot of time to do content and stuff. So, but I'm going to have more time now. So I'm going to put up more content. I want to do more comedy stuff, more sketches, the political vigilante game show. I'm going to do all that stuff. So we're all going to be home alone. I'm going to be providing content for you, me and Ron and Jimmy and everybody. So I promise you that. And thank you so much. It warms my heart because it feels, you know, seeing that it might get worse and they might be a big national quarantine, I'm not worried about getting sick and dying. Like I said, I'm healthy. I can get sick and it'll just be like having the flu. And even if I were to die, hey, we all got to go. I'm not worried about that. You know, I'm a little worried about my parents, but again, they're like in their late 70s, their 80s. You know, we all got to go. And anyone who's in their 80s, I don't want them to die if I'm unless they're a billionaire pedophile. So I'm not really worried about that. You know what I'm worried about? Being alone, being isolated. It's a bummer. It can be a bummer. Like, so yeah, it can be a bummer. Anyway, A Gray, boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Trump's body equals a place not even germs want to live. Boom. Citizens Media TV, thanks for supporting the show. The first act of revolution is love. The 1% have divided us with hate and lies for centuries. Now it's our turn to divide the 1% with our truth and love. You're absolutely right. Bernie's speech on Thursday was the speech where he's like, we got to work together. We all got to work together. Be nice and kind in public. Help your neighbors out. If someone's screaming and taking it out on you, don't scream back. Oh, look, I know we're all stressed out, but this is not, an Asian person isn't the problem. The store clerk is not the problem. This is the pandemic. This is beyond our, this could happen anywhere to any of us. And we all need to, if you know this 12 steps, step 1 is admit you're powerless. The whole world is now having to admit how powerless it is. Take it one day at a time. Miss Hendricks, poll workers here in Ohio are staying away. Yeah, all right. Thank you for letting me know about that. All right, everybody, hit the like button. I got to check out. Bernie doesn't want to place more taxes on the wealthy. It's the government's fault, really, for sure. We all got to work together. Annabelle Corley, how are you, Annabelle? Love to my American friends. I hope you demand Medicare for all. It's your basic right. Remember that. Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Like, share, subscribe. I will go live tomorrow night with Ron Placone immediately following the debate between Biden and Bernie. It should include Tulsi Gabbard, but Bernie didn't stick up for her, which was a complete disappointment. But I hope Bernie takes his gloves off and starts fighting back against Joe Biden. If he doesn't, then I don't know what else to do. Thank you for supporting the show and supporting everything I do. I'm gonna put my political vigilante shirts online. Right now, there's a political vigilante shirt tier because I have all these shirts I bought to go on the road, and I gotta sell them now because I used to just make it. You could only buy them on the road, so I'm gonna try to make them for sale online. There is a political vigilante T-shirt tier on Patreon. So any way you can support the show, I appreciate it. There will be more updates on live streaming stand-up comedy in the next week. Thank you so much. You're all making Gotham great again. Making Gotham great again. The show's called Political Vigilante. I'm a huge Batman fan. So it's my joke about make America great again. It's make Gotham great again. So that's what it is. Ann Bird retired. Hello, Ann Bird retired. Thanks, Graham. You're a ray of sunshine on this rainy day in Trump country. I'm going to try to bring as much joy and love to this channel and truth for my own sanity as well as all of yours. Thank you so much. Love and light to all. Be a good neighbor. Be kind. Be gentle. Except when the ruling class is fucking you. Shave your knuckles for justice.